Hi, I'm Cynthia for Artbeads Cafe, and Tracy is back with us. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you again.
I'm happy to be here.
And of course, Tracy is going to show us how to make something, a project at the end of this video. And today you're here to talk to us about the Western Winged collection.
Yes.
It's a really cool kind of a boho collection, if I can say, or Western.
It's very
style.
Western, Southwest art and symbology of the Southwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can be boho, can be anything you want.
Well, I love feathers, and you have like two types of feathers here. I was so excited to see those. And so what is the story behind that collection?
People wanted bigger feathers.
Yes.
Always people have asked us, because we have those two smaller feathers that were part of, I think, our initial product line in like 1989. And people have asked us for a very long time for larger feathers. So that was the inspiration.
Yes.
And so we went with two different styles. We went with a very kind of stylized feather, with this larger one, which is 3 inches long, roughly.
Yes.
So it's a nice big feather. It took some pushing of our production techniques to learn to find the techniques that we needed to master to make such big parts.
Right.
Yeah, so it was real labor of love for the production team. And then the 2-inch feather, beautifully, just not so stylized, just beautifully rendered. And then we added a Thunderbird charm, which is something that people have also asked us for over the years.
Okay.
So we love, the Thunderbird symbol is very common in Native American cultures and throughout the continent, and it kind of means different things, I think, to different groups, but generally it means is symbolic of power and strength.
Okay.
So it's really a great piece.
Yes.
And then a few years back, we had a lot of people, when we were in Tucson doing the trade show, we had a lot of people hearing them talk about Navajo pearls. And what those are is, it's a sterling silver handmade bead, I guess originating with the Navajo people. And we looked it up. We'd not heard of it. We looked it up, and it was just this beautiful bead. And this really this is not a copy of a Navajo bead.
Right.
But the size and the shape of it were inspiring to us, and so we created this little rondelle type bead with a little bit of patterning around the edges, and just really happy with the way it came out.
Beautiful.
And then we also had this kind of Western design that we loved and created a button out of it. And it kind of reminds us a little bit of those concho bracelets.
Yes.
Or belts, rather, concho belts. Yeah, so that was...
they are really fun.
Yeah, that
really
was the
love
inspiration
those.
for the buttons.
Yes.
And people love buttons.
They do. I do too. Well, we use them buttons a lot in Bracelet. And again, TierraCast, the details of every single thing is just amazing. I just love the detail on the feathers, on the buttons, and I love those little beads. Love to use them as pieces.
Yes.
And everyone knows I love TierraCast pieces. I use them all the time.
And she asks us to make new ones all the time. So this one is, bigger than someone might typically think of as a spacer, but yeah.
They work really well as pieces, yes. So are you going to show us later how to make this really cute bracelet with the feathers? But let's have a look first to those pieces here. So here you have a Thunderbird earring.
Just simple. Hang a charm on a jump ring and attach an ear wire. Actually, I don't even know if there's a jump ring. No, it's just the ear wire attached to the charm.
Right. Very simple but very pretty. Here, this is a multi-strand.
Yes.
I'm going to bring it closer to us with some seed beads.
It's got the Thunderbirds. It's got the Western bead. And then lots of little wire-wrapped gemstones to accent it. Really fun, and of course the color palette is what you think of often when you think Southwest.
Yes, exactly. That's so pretty. I love those little gemstones here and there. Such a clever idea. And then here you have a big piece also that I really like.
the new 2-inch feather plus a couple of our older feathers. They look really nice together.
Really
and then
cute.
the button is kind of the clasp right here.
Right, and the button, I can see it. It's a wire wrap around this suede, and then wire wrap here also with the feathers. This is really cute. Love it. Yeah, with the seed beads. This is a great project if you have leftover seed beads.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can use it like that.
Little bead soup projects.
Yes. And then on your side also, oh, we have to show this one. This is so pretty.
I definitely wanted to include, you know, a loomed bracelet with the jewelry in this collection. So I put together this one and just kind of, I looked around for, okay, what kind of pattern? It needs to be a diamond pattern. And I just kind of made this one up. And I've seen a lot of designs that incorporate some larger, like size 6 seed beads in with the loom pattern. So I was inspired by that. And just the button.
Really beautiful, but I love the way how you put some details here
with that.
With the thread.
That was the thread that I used in the loom.
Yeah.
Is it the warp or the weft? I always forget. But yeah, I liked the idea of including that as little accents too.
Instead of hiding it, you put it up. It's like that. Very beautiful. And then another pair of earrings down there, just very simple too.
Yeah, just the Thunderbird, and we used with a pretty gemstone drop with one of our old post earrings. It's just our dome post, which we've had in our line for a very long time. I love that post because it's so neutral.
Right, yes. And then those beads that you were talking about, love that too.
And this one has both of the feathers on it.
Okay. They really work. I mean, yeah, those beads are just amazing.
Yeah.
Again, feathers. Oh, I love all those feathers.
And well, in this one, Katie made this one, and the clever use of the buttons as focals here.
Right.
So you just strung the cord through it, added some beads.
That's great.
Very simple and very easy.
Yes.
But it ended up very impressive. It looks just, you know, it's kind of surprising that it's a very simple construction.
Right. And do you know the size of the leather? Is that like 2 millimeters?
It looks like a 2 millimeter to me, yeah. And it's our 2 millimeter cord ends on the back, so yeah. Must be 2 millimeter.
You can look and you know right away. That's really great. Okay, well, I cannot wait for you to show us how to make this really cute bracelet.
Well, I was really wanting to see what I could do with this big long feather. So I used bracelet bending pliers and hole punching pliers. So I punched a hole at one end and then just went at it with the bracelet bending pliers really carefully. I didn't know what was going to happen, and was really pleased that it worked so well.
Good.
So yeah. All right, so the first thing I did to make this bracelet was I took a Sharpie and just made a little dot kind of where I wanted to punch my hole, and I don't want it to be too close to the edge, so I wanted to make sure it was at least 1/8 of an inch back from the tip of the feather.
Okay.
And then I've got 1.8 millimeter hole punching pliers here. You could use 2 as well. Both of those will work. And it's easy to think I'm just going to aim for that the seam of the feather, but it's not quite centered. So I actually want to go off to the side a teeny bit and hope that it doesn't punch too close to the edge. Okay, so there's our hole.
Great, yeah.
And then with the bracelet bending pliers, I just started at one end and kind of worked my way down.
So you just go little.
Really kind of slowly and carefully. I do want it to have enough of a curve to fit my, to kind of fit across my wrist nicely. So that looks pretty good.
Yes. That's good.
So I have 2 pre-cut 12-inch pieces of 2 millimeter leather cord, and leather cord can really vary in thickness sometimes.
Yes.
And I used a 1.8 millimeter hole punch. So I think this cord looks like it's fairly thin, and I think it'll fit okay. I'm going to trim the end at an angle to help it. All right. Now, if you were having trouble getting your cord through that hole with the 1.8 millimeter punch, a little bit of filing with a round file would also help with that.
That's a good idea.
Okay. So I've got one end tucked through, and I'm just going to tie an overhand knot right around that cord. So I wrap the short end around the long cord and then just tie it to itself.
Okay.
And pull that tight. And when I'm all done with the bracelet, I would probably add a little bit of glue to that knot just to make sure it doesn't come loose.
Right.
And then I'm going to repeat that process with the cord on the other side. Now I'm going to crisscross those cords in the back of the bracelet, and then I'm going to test the size. I want to make that loop wide enough so it just fits over the widest part of my hand. And then I'm going to take one of those cords. I think I'll do this one. And make a sliding knot there.
So you made a loop first, I saw, right?
I made my loop first.
Okay.
And then I coil the end of that around. And I'm making this knot as close to the center of that overlap as I can. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. This cord is a little bit stiff, but you can just keep working it and it'll tighten up.
Okay. So you're making a loop like that.
I'm folding the end of the cord kind of back onto itself, and so that will be the final loop of my sliding knot.
And then you wrap twice?
Twice, 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
You know, we want to be consistent.
Right.
And do it the same on both sides, but you know, the more times you wrap it, the longer that pretty kind of barrel look sliding knot will be. And then pull that one snug. And then they just slide like that to tighten and loosen the bracelet.
That's great.
That one's a little messy, but we can go back in and tidy that up later. And then I'll trim the extra off on that. So that's the sliding bracelet part of it.
It's really cute.
And then for an accent, I'm going to string a bead onto the head pin. This bead has a fairly large hole, so I need a stopper bead.
Right.
Maybe this one on top. And then I'm just going to finish that with a simple loop. And then I'll attach that little accent dangle right into the loop at the end of the feather.
And that's it. Oh, that is so cute. I love this little bit accent there. And then you did also with a ribbon, and it's also really cute. And I love the fact that you have those. I put it on, and it was really cute to just have those 2 pieces out like that on the arm. It's really
well. And with
really
this
fun.
one, you know, you can also create a sliding closure by just tying that loose end in an overhand knot. You don't have to do the wrapped sliding knot style. And so that's what we did with this one, just because we thought that this style wasn't really going to show up as well on this, so the overhand knot worked fine for that.
Really cute. Well, I'm so happy to see that you can do things with those feathers. You can bend them, you can punch them. That opens so many other opportunities to make some more designs. So thank you so much for showing us this bracelet today. That was really fun.
You're welcome.
And come back anytime.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today at Artbeads Cafe. And please subscribe to our email newsletter to see more of our videos and our great promotions. So thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. À bientôt.